Hey, welcome to my channel. Alex Costa here. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I've been focusing on daily updates with things like stocks and GameStop and crypto, and I've been doing live streams. And that is all fun and good, and I love what I do. I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed interacting with you. But it has always been my intention with this channel to focus on things where I have areas of expertise. Now with stocks, with crypto, I have learned a lot over the years. With things like what we're going to talk about today, I have years of experience working as a mortgage agent, as a real estate agent, and I would love to share some of those things with you in something more so called evergreen content. Things that if you don't need this information now, maybe you can hold on to it and know that I've made a video like this, and you can come back a few years down the road, and I'm sure this information will still be relevant. If you find this information helpful, at the end of the video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is part one of a series, and so I'll be covering a lot more down the road. So before we begin, I do want to share with you my experience. So from 2012 to 14, I was a licensed mortgage loan originator at a mortgage company in California. And so what I would do is I was on the first line. A person would contact our company. I would determine whether they were qualified by looking at their credit score, looking at their income compared to their debts, and I would find the right packages for them to determine whether they would qualify and then what rate was the best rate I could get them and everything else. And so a lot of experience in that regard with credit, with even working with my clients in getting them to a point where they would be able to qualify for a loan. In 2014, I switched over from mortgage loan origination to become a licensed realtor. And so a lot of the same things that I learned in the mortgage industry were I had to apply to meeting with clients for the first time, a lot of first-time home buyers, home sellers, different things like that, and working with them and different mortgage loan originators in my area to see where they were qualified and where they could fit in with a loan, and to see how much they were qualified for. And so I did that for 6 years. My first year, I was just a realtor in a company run by another man. Within that first year, that man stepped down and I became the principal broker, meaning that I was in charge of the whole business. And so anyone under me would report to me as the principal broker of that company. And probably the biggest reason why I think it would be helpful to listen to me is really this last one here. I went from no credit, really having no credit, to being a homeowner, and I did it very quickly. And so I'm gonna be sharing a lot of personal examples of things that I did to get from no credit to a qualifying credit for a home loan, literally within 6 months. All right, so here's the first thing that I did. I went to creditkarma.com. There is a myth going around, I don't know where it originated. Maybe this was true at a certain time, but it's not true anymore, that you can only check your credit score once a year. That is not true. That's not true anymore. Creditkarma.com, if you put your information there, it is free and you can check it anytime. It gives you a detailed assessment of where you are right now. So if you don't know, or if you are curious, this is the first thing I would do. I would even pause the video right now, go to creditkarma.com, and make an honest assessment of where you are as far as your credit is concerned. If you have no credit, this is going to be a lot easier to work with than if you have bad credit. And so if you have bad credit, there are just things as far as a conventional loan is concerned that it's gonna take longer than 6 months, to be honest with you. And that is if you have a foreclosure, if you have any bankruptcies, if you have major things like that. But if you have cards in default, if you have late payments, those are things we can work with those things. So don't sweat too much, but first things first, go to creditkarma.com. This is not a paid promotion, by the way. All right, you went to creditkarma.com, you saw your score, if there was one. For me, there wasn't one. And then step two is perhaps get a secured credit card. And so what do I mean when I say perhaps? Well, here's the deal. Maybe you qualify for a better card. For me, let me share with you my story real quick. And if you're anything like me, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get a secured credit card. And so here's what happened for me. I graduated college in 2004. My girlfriend suggested that I get a credit card, my first ever credit card. I was financially illiterate. I didn't really pay attention to when I was supposed to pay off my card, and I had plenty of late payments, and then one day the credit card company was like, enough, I hadn't paid for 3 months, and they took it to collections. That same year, I bought a computer at Best Buy. If you can imagine this, I mean a 40 gigabyte computer, a laptop computer for like $900, and I qualified for a Best Buy card. And I just was like, the first few months I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna pay for this, I'll catch up some other time. That also went to collections, and I had to pay that off over the years. I paid something like $2,500 for a $900 computer. And so after that, anytime I would apply for a credit card, I would get declined. And this happened for several years. I even went to a bank, and the person that I worked with at the bank was like, there's nothing I can do for you, which was absurd. No, there was plenty she could have done for me. She just didn't realize that all you have to do is get a secured debit credit card. And so what is a secured credit card? It's a card where you have to put some money up front, and then that is your line of credit. It's your credit. So it's just a way for people with bad credit, with no credit, to get their foot in the door. And so what do you do when you get a secured credit card? Maybe you devote that card only towards something like filling your gas tank. And then at the due date, or before the date that payment is due, you pay that card off faithfully every month for 6 months or so. Now, if you're in a better position than that, maybe you don't need to get a secured card, then get the best card available. And actually, creditkarma.com will have options for you, and they'll have suggestions based on where you are credit-wise. But what we need to see is consistent using of the card and paying off the card on a monthly basis. And then step 3 will happen. All right, step 3. Unfortunately, this is gonna be kind of annoying, but you will get offers in the mail. You will get lots and lots of offers in the mail. And at first, a lot of those offers will be absolute trash. It'll have annual fees, it'll have high rates of interest, and as far as I'm concerned, just avoid those. You will be able to get something better than those. But as far as the first few months are concerned, those are the offers you're gonna get in the mail. But then, one lucky day, you're going to get an offer for a card that has no fees and does not have as high of an APR, an interest rate. And so that's the one you go for and you sign up for it. You can most likely sign up for that card online, or you could send in a snail mail, a letter. But what you're looking for is a better card that has a higher limit that you can use to further build your credit. So we want multiple accounts built up, and one where you're not having to pay annoying fees like a $99 a month fee just for the right to use the card. So that's gonna take a few months. It's gonna take about 3 or 4 months for you to find the right card. But when that time comes, do it a couple more times, 2 or 3 more cards that you will need to build up your diversity of credit. Not necessarily your diversity, but multiple accounts. That's what you want. And so that's next. All right, so for your last step for this first part 1 of this video series, all you have to do is pay these cards off on time. Maybe you don't have to do much, but you do have to put a little bit on each card every month. I'm sure if you're like me, you're gonna get a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts, some McDonald's coffee. Just put a couple orders on the card every month and then pay it off. And so you're doing this for 2 or 3 more cards, and you pay those off faithfully. And what they'll see, the credit agencies, their algorithm at least, is that you have been consistent with paying on time your cards. It is essential here that you don't be late. Now, if you're 1 day late, I shudder to say this, but that's not something to sweat about. If you're 1 day late, if you're 2 days late, but you've got to pay these cards off on time. And so then what happens? Well, if you check your Credit Karma account regularly, what you'll see is that your score will slowly go up. So personally, my score went from non-existent, I didn't even have a score, to 670 or so. And at 670, you will easily be able to qualify for a loan based on your score alone, for a home loan, based on your credit score alone. You want at least a 620 for a conventional loan that is approved by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, or you could have a 580, but the goal here is not to have a 580 for a loan approved by FHA. My goal for you would be to qualify for a conventional loan, not an FHA loan, which we'll talk about more in further videos. And so do these first 4 steps. This is your first 6 months. If you can do these things faithfully, you will be on the right track to going to no credit or poor credit to being a homeowner quickly. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. And again, please like and subscribe to this channel if you like this content. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I try my hardest to provide quality content, and I promise you I will do a better job. So maybe then you should subscribe to be my accountability. But otherwise, I am here to help. So if there's anything you need, let me know in the comment section below. All right,